So in previous lecture we have seen the DCP is instrumentation and how it actually works. So in DCP or in direct current plasma we are having argon source, again argon gas we are going to use, and along with that there are the important cathode and anode regions. Okay, so in anode region we are using the graphite electrode, and in cathode region we using the tungsten electrode. So once that sample is introduced into the excitation chamber by using the sample along with argon gas, so the excitation is occurring, and there is a generation of current around 14 ampere, and the temperature which we will be going to get is around 8000 to 5000 Kelvin. The sample which aspirated into the arc sources is between the two arms, okay, that we have seen. So there are the quite advantages over the ICP source. So what are that advantages? So first advantage is that the lines or the spectra obtained by the DCP is having small lines or very few lines as compared with the ICP source. So it get less complex spectra, and the reproducibility of the this ICP source is DCP source is superior over that of the ICP. Then next is the argon gas which is required for the DCP source is less as compared with the ICP source. Also we have seen one important advantage is that we require the less power supply and less expensive power supply as compared with the ICP, and this DCP source can be able to handle the organic as well as aqueous solution which are having very high solid content. Okay, so that this cannot be handled, or the sample which containing very high solid content might not be able to handle properly in the ICP. Okay, so there are the quite disadvantages for the this our DCP sources. One is the graphite electrode which required into the this DCP sources. We need to replace them afterward, means after few hours we need to replace that graphite electrode because their oxidation is taking place on the surface of this graphite. And another one is the sensitivity of this result is less as compared with the ICP. Okay, so till now we have seen the two sources, that is the two plasma sources. One is ICP and another one is DCP. Third source is there, that is microwave induced plasma, MIP, but that is not necessary here. So we will see the application of this plasma source in combine. Okay, so these applications are applicable for both our ICP source as well as DCP source. So these applications are common for both ICP and DCP. So again, the first application is the qualitative analysis. Okay, so the qualitative analysis, we need to determine the what are the elements that are present in the given sample. Okay, in qualitative analysis. So this the DCP and ICP sources are useful for the qualitative analysis. So nearly all the elements in the periodic table are analyzed using qualitatively using this technique. So and the sensitivity of this detection for the particular element is like superior than that we are generally see for the flame emission techniques. Okay, so flame emission techniques gives you the like we have our flame emission technique in our lab. Okay, so there we can selectively detect the three elements, that is our sodium, potassium and calcium. Okay, so but in these plasma sources we can be able to determine the almost all the elements in the periodic table. Okay, then next is the technique is very useful for the qualitative analysis of sample for mining industry as well as rock salt, inorganic samples, etc. So the technique in which we need to determine the elements having different types of elements in the sample, so we can generally use this technique. Okay, so this technique will like involve the emission phenomenon, and we can easily determine the like samples like mining industry, rock salts, as well as inorganic samples. So that one is the qualitative analysis. So next one is the quantitative analysis. Okay, so once we got to know idea about the which elements are there, okay, so in quantitative analysis we need to determine the how much that concentration is there for that particular element. Okay, so these sources are most familiar part of the quantitative analysis up to parts per billion level. Okay, so these samples having the concentration of particular element around parts per billion level, that also can be estimated by these two sources. So for particular analysis we can use the various quantitative methods like internal standard method, standard addition method, or calibration curve method, whichever is the suitable for particular element that can be useful for the all the elements analysis. Okay, so there are three methods for the quantitative estimation of elements. So one is the internal standard method. So that method we can use when we don't know the exact composition of our sample, so like generally rock salts or some mining industry samples. Okay, so that metallurgical sample or some archaeological samples are that those composition are not exactly known to us. Okay, so in that type we can generally use the our standard addition method or the internal standard method. And the last, that is calibration curve method, is generally used once we know the exact concentration of our sample. Okay, so next quantitative analysis application is, these methods are quite useful for the trace analysis of the environmental sample, biological sample, and the forensic sample. So these sources ICP and DCP source find the wide range of application in almost all the fields. Okay, and so that mining industry and soil samples, then environment sample, biological sample, or the forensic sample can also be analyzed by using the this these two sources. Okay, so next one is the elemental analysis. So elemental analysis is again a, like we can say that it's a part of the qualitative analysis. So because these techniques or these sources are useful for the determination of almost all the elements present in the periodic tables. Okay, so for elemental analysis, all the metallic elements can be determined by using the plasma emission techniques. Okay, so for metallic elements these techniques are like superior over the other technique. So plasma emission techniques are useful for the metallic element detection, because for metals we require very high temperature. Okay, because metals are having very high melting point. So once we can reach up to their melting point temperature, then only we can like excite that atoms. Okay, beyond that temperature also will require for the excitation. So that can be achieved by using our ICP or DCP source depending upon the element. So once we got to the excitation, then we can measure the emission spectrum for the particular element. So again the second the second application is the vacuum spectrophotometer, which is necessary for the boron, phosphorus, as well as sulfur or carbon elements. So this, for non-metal elements we require the vacuum spectrometer. Okay, because there might be like interaction with some environmental gases. So for maintaining the purity of the sample we require the vacuum in the our sample chamber. Okay, so next application is the all the heavy elements in the periodic table, which can be determined qualitatively as well as quantitatively with this mode, but the accuracy which is quite less as compared with the quantitative analysis. Okay, so next one is the sample analysis. So the samples such as organic, inorganic, pharmaceutical, chemical, biological, all of these samples which can be determined with very high resolution, so by using these two techniques like ICP and DCP. So these methods are quite useful for the research as well as R&D purpose. Okay, So this is the our atomic emission spectroscopy through plasma sources. Okay? So in this we need to have the detailed discussion of our two sources. One is the inductively coupled plasma source, and the second one is the direct current plasma source. Okay, so here we have seen the construction as well as their working for the two sources. Then next we have to see the what are the various applications of all of these sources, what are the advantages for particular source, what are the disadvantages for the particular sources, and last the common application for the two sources. So applications, there are four applications in total: qualitative analysis, quantitative analysis, sample elemental analysis, and sample analysis. So once we have like finished these two sources, next is our electrical discharge source or the arc and spark sources. So there we will see in detail the again which type of arc and source or the spark sources are there. So that we will see in the next lecture.